Let me ask you something. If someone handed you $100 right now, how would you feel? Pretty good, right? Now imagine you had that same $100 in your pocket and you lost it. How do you feel now? Here's the crazy part. The joy of gaining that $100 and the pain of losing it are not even close to being equal in your brain. Scientists have actually proven that losing $100 feels almost twice as painful as gaining $100 feels good. Twice. And that one fact explains so many of the terrible financial decisions most of us make without even realizing it. Let me tell you about a guy named Daniel. Daniel was a 38-year-old office manager, steady job, decent salary, not rich, but comfortable. He was the kind of guy who always did his research before making any financial decision. He read articles, watched videos, took his time. Smart guy. One day, Daniel decided he was finally going to invest in stocks. He put in $3,000, money he had saved up over several months, and within the first 3 weeks, his portfolio was up $800. He felt amazing, confident, like he had finally figured something out. But then the market dipped, and he lost $600 of those gains in a single day. Even though he was still up $200 overall, Daniel couldn't sleep that night. The loss of that $600 felt like a punch to the stomach, even though he had never actually lost his original money. That feeling Daniel experienced has a name. It is called loss aversion. And it is one of the most powerful psychological forces that controls our financial lives. The concept was first explored by behavioral economists who discovered that human beings are not rational when it comes to money. We do not weigh gains and losses equally. Losses feel roughly twice as powerful emotionally as gains of the same size. So your brain is literally wired to feel the pain of losing more deeply than the pleasure of winning. And that wiring causes people to make some seriously irrational financial decisions every single day. Here is where it gets really interesting. Because of loss aversion, Daniel started making moves that actually hurt him more in the long run. Every time the market dipped even slightly, he would panic and want to sell. He was so desperate to avoid the feeling of losing that he started pulling out of good investments too early and holding on to bad ones too long, hoping they would come back up just so he wouldn't have to feel the pain of accepting a loss. Sound familiar? This is exactly why so many people sell their stocks at the worst possible time, why people stay in jobs they hate because leaving feels like losing security, and why we hold on to stuff we don't need just because getting rid of it feels like a loss, even if it is costing us money to keep. Daniel eventually sat down with a financial coach who explained something that changed everything for him. He said, "Daniel, you are not making investment decisions. You are making emotional decisions dressed up as investment decisions. The goal is not to avoid losses, because losses are part of the game. The goal is to build a strategy that your emotions cannot hijack." Once Daniel understood that his brain was literally working against him, he stopped reacting to every market movement and started trusting his long-term plan. Within 2 years, his portfolio had grown significantly, not because he got lucky, but because he finally got out of his own way. Here is what this means for all of us. Loss aversion is not a weakness. It is just how human brains are wired. But awareness is everything. The moment you understand that your brain will always make a loss, feel bigger than it actually is, you can start making decisions based on logic instead of fear. Next time you are about to make a financial decision, ask yourself, am I doing this because it is the smart move, or am I doing this just to avoid the feeling of losing something? That question alone could save you thousands. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you ever made a bad financial decision just because you were trying to avoid a loss? I want to hear your story. And if you want more videos breaking down the hidden psychology behind your money decisions, subscribe, because we do this every single week. See you in the next one.